on, family? Oh man, there's only 4 of y'all in here. Did y'all get the email? Let me know if y'all got the email or not. Cause I got a feeling it did not go through. Let me see. How y'all doing? Meet me in the comment section real quick. Let me know if you got the email or not. What's up, Kristen? No, not from yesterday. One today. Let's see. Oh man, I'm tired, y'all. Okay, so it sounds like y'all didn't get it. So let me send that again real quick, and then we'll get started. Okay. Class is starting now. Okay. Okay. All right. Try to make sure. Okay, cool. All right, I just sent the email back out just to make sure that anybody that didn't get it, because a lot of you say y'all didn't get it today, so I just sent it again. If one of y'all don't mind, do you mind checking your email right now and let me know if you got that one? I hate that about technology. What's up, Kristen? What's Destiny? What's up, Lanya? What's up, Marianne? What's up, Kristen? What's up, Destiny? What's up, Renelle? I think Renelle was with us yesterday. That's like a new face. All right. Now, can somebody go check your email, like right now? I don't think it has sent yet. Just go check now and let me know if you got something. Got it? Bam. One person said saw it. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, well, we locked in. We're getting ready to get started. Let me pull my notes up. How y'all feeling today? Just in general, though, just like how y'all's day been. Drop in the comment section real quick. Let me know how your day been so far. And I'm not asking like just to buy time. I'm genuinely asking. Because I actually want to ask questions, but before I ask the second one, I want to just actually ask you, how are you feeling today? Fabulous. That's great. All right. Let's see how y'all say y'all feeling. Today felt long, but good and productive. Hello, feeling amazing. How are you? It was okay. Wasn't feeling well towards my work shift. Well, hopefully you feel better. Good. How about you? I'm good. Just tired. So I went live on TikTok Thursday night, Friday night. No, Thursday night. Now, I don't know if I went live Thursday night. Friday night, Saturday night. Sunday I preached at a church. Had class last night. Had class tonight. So yeah, I'm like, and then I have to go get a filling in the morning at the dentist, which, you know, nobody wants to go spend money, and nobody wants to have work done on their teeth, you know. But I am glad to be getting this taken care of before it gets like worse, because after everything I went through, I promise you, I have not had, man, listen, probably not a month. I probably had something sweet twice. Like when I tell you, me and Sugar right now, after everything I've been through, we beefing. So, but I don't got nobody to blame. I've always been a little bit of a or a lot of bit of a sugar addict. You don't realize how much you're addicted to something until you stop it, and you're like, whoa, I was like overboard. I was eating something sweet with every meal, I'm talking like decades. So, you know, living you learn, and you have a tooth pull and you have a wake up call. That's the best way I can put it. You have a tooth pull and you have a wake up call. I'm a sugar freak and I've only had 4 cavities. Probably just brush your teeth a lot. That's my assumption. So like, I used to eat sugar and like go to sleep. Like I would literally be eating sugar like in bed. Like that's not really been recent, like in the last couple years, but probably like if you go like maybe 2-3 years ago on back, like go back like 10 years, 12 years, just crazy. So yeah, pretty dumb, pretty stupid, but it is what I was doing. I'm not gonna lie, I was doing that for sure. So the next question I wanted to ask before we get started was, how was last night for you? Like, just more so, you don't even gotta tell me how it was, but more so like, just give me some feedback, give me some thoughts. Like, since last night, 24 hours between then and now, what thoughts, feelings, emotions, give them to me. I'm looking to hearing this. Feeling powerful with certain things. Okay, Marianne, that's good. Who else? Marianne, do you care to share any of those things? Tonight is going to be a lot more interactive. Just a heads up. Tonight is going to be a lot more interactive. I meditated, reflected, and cried out for help to God. Wow, that's deep. That's deep. Oh my eye. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? I'm like waiting on y'all. Nobody's like, y'all not writing me fast at all. My feed keeps craving out. I was always too much and had days in there. Sure, right after we found God had me block, delete, remove certain people that are not good for my spirit and that do not have good intentions for me. Was that you? Was that you that wrote me, Marianne? I believe that was you that wrote me on TikTok. That sounds like the same thing somebody else had to hit me up about. Okay, cool, yeah. You had me laughing. You had me laughing with that. I can't remember what part, but anyways, I won't say it on here. But you said that was funny to me in that message. Matter of fact, it's making me want to go back and see it real quick. You said something. I'm not gonna say everything you said. It's just one part. You'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you said 8. That's all I say. The number. Like when you said that, that junk had me laughing. I was cracking up. Oh man. Then no, it was the second message. Yeah, now I can't repeat that. But it was the second message after you said 8, and then you said what you said. That was hilarious to me. It was like you was like, oh wait, let me clarify. I'm not saying. And I'm like, hey sis, yeah, hey, whatever, you know. I'm like, hey, it is what it is. That was hilarious. Oh man, I love when y'all hit me up, man. Y'all are great people. Everybody on here, you so great, so great. All right, so tonight, I'm going to start the live off talking about boundaries. And this is the last question I'm gonna ask before we get started. I want to see like why are you here, right? Because since this is the last night, I want to try to make sure that I touch on everything that anyone may have come here for. Nobody leave here feeling like you didn't get what you needed to come here for. Like I didn't touch on or speak on. Like don't look at what other people are saying happened for them and start to feel like, well, I didn't get anything because I didn't have that moment. Okay, I'm just asking you, like, is there anything? And you're gonna get a chance to ask me a specific question. Everybody's gonna get to have a Q&A question at the end. So tonight won't be as long as last night, right? Like I'll only talk for probably about maybe like an hour and a half, and then we'll have a full 30 minutes for Q&A. So you'll get a chance to ask that. But outside of a very specific question, is there like a topic, I guess you would say, that that kind of feels like a question, but just know this is not question time. It's just more so like you're just honestly saying like, I signed up for this reason. See what I'm saying? And so you tell me that, and then I'm gonna try to make sure that I include, whatever everything is y'all say, if it has not already happened. Does that make sense? Okay, boundaries. Perfect. Come on. This is the time for everybody to comment. May nobody get left out. Knowing my self-worth. Y'all quiet now. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There's still like 10, 15 more of you. This is the last question, then we're getting started. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all like 60 more seconds, cause I don't know, y'all not responding to that. Okay, boundaries. 3 people. Like, what's going on, y'all? Are y'all not here? Are y'all not present? Do we need to do a quick roll call? Did y'all not hear the question? Let me know. Let me know. Now if this was on TikTok, it'd be different. But like here, I'm like, what's going on, family? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, you got 40 seconds. Red flags. There we go. Come on. I forgot what topics. I remember boundaries, divorce, feeling lost, knowing my purpose. Okay. Aries, baby. Are you new? I haven't seen you on here. Anybody else? You got two. Okay. All right. I see red flags. That was probably one that stood out to me. All right. Let's do it. Let's get into tonight. I'm excited and I'm ready. And I'm going to try to make sure that I include Revs as well. And yeah, it's going to be dope, though. It's going to be a dope night. Into it. God, I thank you for this day. I thank you for everybody on here. Lord, I pray, God, that you let the right things be said, Lord, that you will just touch every person on here, that you will remind them of their value, of their worth, that you will reveal to them their value, their worth, Lord, the necessary boundaries needed. I pray, Lord, that tonight will not only be informative, it will be enjoyable, that it will be revealing, full of revelation. I really just want people to come to us where they're able to see things differently, to the point where it changes their experiences, to where it changes their choices, to where it changes their heart posture, to where it changes what they attract, where it changes who they hold on to. So I give you thanks for doing exactly that. And I pray, Lord, that tonight is just awesome. In His name, amen. 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 I got a feeling we're about to have an awesome night tonight. I think we're going to have an awesome night tonight. Y'all ready to have an awesome night? If you're ready, comment below. I'm ready. I'm ready. All right. Y'all are ready. Let's go. Boundaries, 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 boundaries. Let me read to you a couple of quotes, okay? You ready? Ready for a couple of quotes? Let's do it. Quote number 1. If someone throws a fit because you set boundaries, it's just more evidence the boundary is needed. If someone throws a fit because you set boundaries, it's just more evidence the boundary is needed. Number 2, you are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Ooh. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. The more you value yourself, the healthier your boundaries are. The more you value yourself, the healthier your boundaries are. So those are 3 quotes. Which one stands out to you the most? 1, 2, or 3? I'll go through them one more time really quickly. Number 1, if someone throws a fit because you said boundary, evidence the boundary is needed. Number 2, you are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Number 3, the more you value yourself, the healthier your boundaries are. Which one speaks to you the most? Let me know in the comment section. I really like the one about fire personally. Like that one. Oh, actually, I want to make a video about that today. So it's crazy. 2, 2, 3, 3. You got a lot of 2s and 3s. A lot of 2s and 3s. Okay. What else? 2. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So everybody like 2 and 3 specifically. So the question of the night: are you good at setting boundaries? Are you boundaries? Be honest. Good or bad? Drop a comment in the comment section. Are you good at setting boundaries or bad at setting boundaries? Bad. Thank you for your honesty. I struggle. Bad. Thank you for your honesty. You know, one of the quotes I thought was so powerful, it said, the more you value yourself, the healthier your boundaries are. You know, last night we really got into self-worth, and I think that was so important because a lot of times we don't even realize we suck at boundaries. Let me not say that. That's a little bit harsh. A lot of times we don't realize that we're really struggling with boundaries because we just don't view ourselves as valuable. You know, I think I said this last night, or maybe it was on a live, but you've never seen one of those. If you've ever been one of those luxury persons that sell luxury items, they always have a security guard because anything that is of value will be protected. And so I think a lot of times if we're not protecting self, it's because we're struggling with viewing ourselves as valuable. You know what I mean? And so I think to me, that's like normally one of the core issues at hand. But a big issue with boundaries is, in order to even do a good job at setting boundaries, you have to understand what boundaries are, what boundaries are not, why they matter, etc., etc. So let's get into that real quick. So let's talk about what boundaries are, okay? The definition of boundaries. Boundaries are guidelines and personal rules that define what is acceptable for you in relationship, work, and personal life. I'm gonna say it again, okay? Boundaries are guidelines, limits, and personal rules that define what is acceptable for you in relationships, work, and personal life. Okay? I need you to understand that this is something you have to choose to create and enforce. Does that make sense? Guidelines, limits, and personal rules that define what is acceptable for you in relationships, work, and personal life. Now, this is a way for you to protect your peace, time, and energy. This is a way to protect your peace, time, and energy. How many of you are tired of having your time wasted? Be honest. You're tired of having your time wasted. Like, listen, I thought about doing a whole class on that alone. On that alone. How to not have your time wasted. Yeah. Another thing that boundaries are, okay, so a way to protect your peace, time, energy, also a way to define what is okay and not okay for you, okay? Then a responsibility you have to yourself to ensure well-being. I think sometimes we struggle with setting boundaries because we don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. Who on here feels that way, right? Like boundaries are hard for you because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. You don't want to offend nobody. Yeah. This is what boundaries are not. Boundaries are not about controlling other people, okay? Boundaries are not about punishing, okay? Boundaries are not about building walls to keep everyone out. For example, a healthy boundary is, I won't answer work emails after 8 p.m. because I need time to rest. Notice why you're doing it. I won't answer emails after 8 p.m. because I need time to rest. I won't talk on the phone to so-and-so after this time because I have to go to work in the morning. Okay? Now, an unhealthy boundary would be, if my boss emails me after 8 p.m., I'll ignore them forever. If this person tries to talk to me on the phone past 9 p.m., even though I like them, I told my boundary, boom, I'm cutting them off because they don't respect my time. No. That's not a boundary. Now, we're going into something called emotional walls. So sometimes I don't teach on this, but I want to stop and teach on this tonight because like a lot of us have emotional walls and don't realize that we have emotional walls. Like, be careful. This is why having God is so important, because when you don't have God, you will call an emotional wall a boundary, and they're not the same. A wall stops you from letting people in. A wall takes away you being emotionally available. A wall blocks out love. A boundary makes sure that the right love only can get in. Does that make sense? When you have a boundary, it just makes sure that the right people come in. Does that make sense? That's what a boundary does. We have to be careful, right? Because you do not want to you do not want to let, I'm sorry, hold on a second, y'all. I just exited out of what I had pulled up. All right, sorry. You do not want to have walls and mistake them for boundaries, because now you will always think that someone is supposed to do leaps and bounds to get to your heart, when really you're just making it hard to let people in. You're making it hard for people to get to you. You're really now becoming what they say hard to love because of the wall that you created. So your personality, your character, you may not be a hard to love person, but that wall will make it hard for someone to love, because it's not a personal attack on you. It's that the wall is not an easy thing for people to get through to get you. So someone on here, you may be hard to love, not because of who you are, but because of the wall that you created. So we have to know how to separate. You're not hard to love, but it's hard for someone to love you because of the wall that is in the way of them loving you. See what I'm saying? That's just like there are other countries right now that they're not stubborn or picky when it comes to food, but it's hard to get the food to them because of they're in a war zone, you know, and you can't get through certain walls to get the food to them. If we can get the food to them, no problem. But how are we gonna get there? So we have to know the difference between the emotional walls and healthy boundaries. All right, so let's get into that. Emotional walls can look like you avoid sharing feelings, okay? You avoid sharing feelings. Who on here struggles with sharing your feelings? Number two, you use control and distance to protect yourself. You use control and distance to protect yourself. Number three, rigid, unchanging boundaries. In other words, you struggle with flexibility. Like, you've made up your mind, this is what it's going to be, no questions asked, and like, you're not really open to making adjustments, no matter who the person is. It's like, basically, you struggle with compromise. Number four, this is probably my favorite one, because it's like, you say no without even reflecting on it. So you're just like, nope. Like, you don't really give it much thought. And a lot of times we operate like that because we've gone through something, and we don't even have a conversation about certain stuff. Because even like when you're setting a boundary with someone, tell people this, I'm like, if you're involved with someone, like what family member, or if it's like a romantic situation, you want to always be kind of loving enough that you at least will hear someone out. You know, you can always tell someone no with explanation, you know, or hear them out, and then I don't think that's it. But when you're just like, nope, like, you know, I've been in a situation like that before where somebody was like, nope, just that's it. And you're like, dang, like, you know, it's like that. So those are emotional walls. How many of you on here right now would say, after hearing that, you're like, yep, I struggle with emotional walls? How many of you would say you struggle with emotional walls? Definitely. Thank you guys, honestly. Liberty, welcome. Beautiful Martinez, welcome. Cara, welcome. When we have new people on here tonight that wasn't here last night. Welcome. Thank you guys for your honesty. Okay, so what would be a boundary? Confidently just saying yes or no. What would be a boundary? Communicate assertively and respectfully. What would be a boundary? Clearly defining how others should treat you, right? Clearly defining, right? That means you're not just one day popping up saying, nope, can't do that, won't do that. Can't. You're letting them know in advance. You know, I think it's important to let people know in advance, hey, this is boundary. Like this is who I am. This is what I'm on. This is blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? Staying flexible when needed, right? Staying flexible when needed. All right. Now, why do boundaries matter? Why do boundaries matter? That's the question of the day. People always talk about boundaries, make videos about boundaries. Why boundaries matter so much? What's the reason for that? If you don't have boundaries, you will and I want you to comment as I say the one that is for you. If you have boundaries, you will constantly feel, and when I say the thing that you can relate to, just comment the word. You will feel overwhelmed. You will feel resentful. If you don't have boundaries, you will feel overwhelmed. You'll feel resentful. You'll feel taken advantage of. You'll feel drained. You'll feel angry, but unsure why. Woo! I'm going to say them again. When you don't have boundaries, you will constantly feel overwhelmed, resentful, taken advantage of, drained, angry, but unsure why. I want to stop for a moment and let you comment below which one speaks to you. Taking advantage of. Drain, overwhelmed and taken advantage of. Thank you guys for your honesty. I appreciate it. Overwhelmed and taken advantage of. Thank you for your honesty. Okay. This is what boundaries is going to help you with. It's going to help you build healthier relationships, reduce stress, right? That's a big deal, right? Gain self-respect, and improve emotional and mental well-being. That's the obvious. Now, I want to put the notes down for a second. I need you to understand that some of you on here right now, you really struggle setting boundaries and you don't even realize, like, this is a tool, an option, an opportunity that you have that will impact your life 360 degrees. And no one can make you create them but you. Hear me out. No one can make you create boundaries but you. You have to care about you enough. This is why we started off with self-worth. Because if you don't view yourself as valuable, then you're not going to protect you because you don't view you as an asset. You don't view you as valuable. You don't view you as important. But guess what? You clearly are, because everyone always calls on you. Everyone always depends on you. Everyone always leans on you. Everyone always needs your help. You're the one that's out the fire. You're the one that shows up. You're the one that puts yourself aside for other people. So clearly you must have value or else you will never be needed. Am I making sense? So you have to view yourself as important as other people clearly have been viewing you. Am I making sense? Some may be taking medicine right now for something for your mental that if you just had better boundaries, you didn't even need it. Does that make sense? I'm trying to help somebody tonight. This is the part where I have to try to inspire you, motivate you, right? And not just teach you how to, but inspire you to actually choose. Because too often we're not choosing to. And you do not have to become a brand new person overnight, but you just have to decide 1 to 3 new places to start. Like, boom. Like, shout out to my friend Marianne, right? She hit me up. She said, Remy, I just went and did blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to tell her business because she didn't give me. But she hit me up and she said, I just boom, 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 boom. And she created boundaries right then in the moment. And so I think, understand when it comes to boundaries, you will not always be ready to create the boundaries, but when you create them. Sometimes we just have to jump out the window and say, you know what? This is for my benefit. Let me go do it. I remember one time I had a class and we had like a complete, like a block party, a no contact party, a delete party. Listen, I had everybody on the entire class deleting pictures, deleting videos, blocking people, everything. Deleting people, unfollowing people on social media, everything. I said, look, if we're going to do this, we got to do this. Because I know the devil too well. I know the devil too well. I know him well. because he been me my whole life. Since first, since, I really want to talk about. When the coffee spilled on my face, when I was only 4, because it was in a Kool-Aid that was normally a cup I drank Kool-Aid out of, and it was coffee, had to be rushed to the emergency room. What you want to talk about? When I was in first grade, and me and my dad were in the car, and he rode around a dude that had gotten a wreck on a motorcycle, and our car flipped upside down. We landed upside down on our head. What you want to talk about? The next time me and him got in a car accident? Him, my mom, and my brother. You want to talk about the other time after that where me and my mom got in, and the tree was right here beside me, about 3 inches away from completely taking me out outside? She would have been fine. I would not have been. What you want to talk about? The time I spun out of control because somebody came over and hit me while I was on a bridge, and I bounced off the sides of the bridge. I did not know God. People got hurt. Everybody got hurt in the accident but me. What you want to talk about? What you want to talk about when I was 14 and they thought I had stomach cancer? It was the only thing that made sense. That was the only made sense. And the doctor till this day says he has never done that on anybody under 50 except for me. Gut me wide open. 8-inch cut. Cut a piece of my intestines off and reconnected it. What you want to talk about? My senior year when I was in a tornado, in a actual literal tornado, 8 of my classmates died. Scariest moment of my life. Not it passed by, not it passed through. No, I was inside of it. What do you want to talk about? Like, I could keep going, but I'm going to stop. No, I got one more. What do you want to talk about? Because a lot of y'all don't know this. Kristen knows it because she was in the garden community. You want to talk about when the doctor told me 7 months ago that I had cancer and my whole life stopped from what was a checkup, and spent the last 6 out of the last 7 months going back and forth to the doctor, trying to figure out, driving 3 hours back and forth, having to see multiple doctors to see what was what, and thank God I don't. But they thought I did. So when I tell you I know the MC, well, some of y'all understand, some of y'all listen to me like, Remy, your life is crazy. You want to know why my life is crazy? On my back. Know why there's a target on my back? Because I answered the call. And when you answer the call that God has given you, you're going to have a target on your back. That doesn't make me better than you. That doesn't make me greater than you. That doesn't make me necessarily more obedient than you. It just means I said yes to the call. I said yes, I obeyed in that part of my life. I said yes to that part of my life. And so when you do that, you're going to get to know the enemy. I tell you, he going to come knocking. He going to come knocking. And so all of that to say, the enemy, excuse me, I got a little pump. And I didn't even touch on no heartbreak, you know. I didn't even touch on that, you know, which is how we even got, how classes even started, you know. But, you know, look, y'all, something so funny that's probably going to trip y'all out. How many of y'all think this is silly? I'm in the process of creating some new courses that won't be live, but they'll just be marketed to people that they can take without me being live. And I was trying to figure out, what should I do courses like? Should it be relationship? Should it be self-worth? You know, then I feel like the Lord said heartbreak. You know, my crazy self did not realize till maybe a week ago that heartbreak was my specialty. Like, I didn't even know that's what people viewed me for. And I thought it was the dumbest thing, because like I've done a million one-on-one calls with people for heartbreak. Like, my most viral videos have been from heartbreak. And the things I get the DMs for is for heartbreak. And I didn't even, I don't even know, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, when you make so much content, you just make it, it's kind of hard for you to recognize how people view you looking from the outside in. And I know all of them go hand in hand, but sometimes, like, you're trying to niche down and like target like one market instead of kind of being like boom, 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 boom. And I was trying to figure it out. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. I just want to share that. I battled cancer twice, walked out of a house fire, lost my son, father, mother, 2 brothers, sisters, and mother. God is good. Wow. Listen, this ain't a competition, but if it was, you won. That's all I can say to that. I'm so sorry. I don't even, that, you just left me speechless. LaShawn, how old are you? We thank God for your life, sis. 54. We thank God for your life. All right. I forgot what I was saying and why I up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know what's next on the agenda, but I'm trying to remember why, because I lost that point. What I was saying. Oh, I think I was telling you about why you need to set boundaries, like why it was important, if I remember correctly. Um, 54. Okay. Yeah, we're grateful to have you here. So here's a couple of questions that I want to have you ask yourself. Okay. Where do you feel drained in your life right now? Right. Now, I'm actually, I was gonna read all four of them. Actually, I'm gonna read all four of them. Then we'll come back. Where do you feel drained in your life right now? Okay. Where do you feel the most resentment? Where do you overthink yourself? And where do you feel disrespected? The two questions that I want you to answer is, where do you feel the most pain, and where do you overextend yourself? I want you to answer those two right now. Where in your life do you feel the most drained? Is it work, family, friendships, dating you? Or where do you overextend yourself? Like, where do you say yes when you really want to say no? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna wait on you guys to answer that real quick. Family sometimes. Drain, family. Okay. Overextending, drain with my son. He's 21 but special needs. I remember that. Me time is considered selfish. Selfish by who? Drain, family, and work. Overextend with family. Okay. Home, family, drain, trying to keep my family together, okay? Where do you feel the most drained, and what's the second question? Where do you overextend yourself is the second question. I feel drained in my romantic life. I try to make new connections now that could have potential. Bear. Drain, dating, overextended, friends and family. Drain, dating, overextended, friends and family. Dating, drain, overextended, friends and family. Overextend with family at times and their expectations of me. Okay, so there's a lot of family. There's a lot of family ones. A lot of family ones. And you know, honestly, it's interesting because this is more so relationship based. I feel like a lot of people struggle with family the most. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy how that works. It's kind of crazy how that works. And I feel like the hardest thing about coaching somebody on how to create boundaries with family is that I can tell you what you need to do, but you got to now have the courage to do it. You know, some of setting boundaries require you to get mad. You know, it requires you to reach a breaking point. You know what I mean? And so we have to understand it's a personal choice. All I can do is teach you the information, like what it is, why you should, how you can. I cannot make you, but I hope that tonight at least makes you start to like think about it. You know, hopefully it brings it to the forefront of your mind, and maybe the person will get the courage to do it. You know. Okay. So I'm excited about this part. Probably the most excited about this part. Here are 5 areas, right? Like when we think about boundaries, like Let's like, because one thing I was thinking about when I was putting this together, like in my notes and everything, I was like, I'm gonna break this thing all the way down. So as you can tell, we have literally went through several layers of this. Okay, we went through what are boundaries, right? What our boundaries are not, what matter, right? How you're feeling because you don't have boundaries, possibly, right? How to identify where you need boundaries. Now we're getting ready to get into the 5 key areas to set boundaries in. This is the part I'm excited about. Number 1, emotional boundaries. Okay? Emotional boundaries. For example, how people talk to you, and right? I won't engage in conversations where I'm being insulted or belittled. You can set that boundary where you say, you know what? Listen, if you're belittling me, if you're calling me out my name, you know what I'm saying? If you're yelling, I won't engage in this conversation. We can talk, but not like this. See what I'm saying? The second one, time boundaries, right? I need 24 hours before making plans. You can't ask me to do things last minute. You can't hit me suddenly and expect me to be available and be mad at me if I'm not. Like, text me before you call. You're allowed to do it. See, you can set boundaries as long as you let people know and communicate in advance. This is your boundary. You don't got to feel bad about it. Number 3, physical boundaries. Okay? That's your personal space and comfort. You're like, hey, I prefer handshakes. That was a little different. But hey, if that's your situation, that's your situation. You know? I don't want to get too into the specifics of the physical because I don't want it to like even touch anything sexual. But all I'm trying to say is it's like, and I'm gonna just say this because I need to hear it. Because I don't know what you got going on. But I know I've counseled people that had a lot of different things going on. So I'll just say, if you're in a situation where there's anything physical happening that you do not prefer, you not feel okay with, you feel convicted by it, you're guilty about it, you feel shame about it, you feel wrong for it, you need to speak up, and you also need to stop. And you need to understand that if you have to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable to please someone else, that's not love. That is not healthy. That is not that is a red flag. That is a red flag. Okay? That's all. I'll leave that there. Okay? Next one. Work boundaries. Work boundaries. Okay? You're allowed to have professional limits. I've been here before. Actually, the last job I ever had, I remember my boss would message me anytime. Like he just did not care, you know. And I remember having to set a boundary with him, like, bruh. And I remember him texting me anyways after that time and not responding till the morning, just to let him know, like, hey, I mean what I said. You know what I mean? I mean what I said. I'm not just saying this. Okay. Number 5, relationship boundaries. Relationship boundaries. And this is not just romantic. It can be dating, it can be friends, it can be family. Okay. But with all of them, you can make it very clear, like, hey, I don't entertain respectful conversations. You can tell me what you're feeling, right? But be mindful of how you say it. You know, because if I'm not disrespecting you, don't disrespect me. If you watching this and you disrespectful, that's a different situation. You disrespecting them, they disrespect you. You can't be mad at them. That's being hypocritical, right? So these are the areas, right? Emotional boundaries, time boundaries, boundaries, work boundaries, relationship boundaries. Which one of these areas can you honestly say, like, you like, bro, I ain't got no boundaries here? Emotional boundaries, time boundaries, physical boundaries, work boundaries, relationship boundaries. You're like, hey, it's not going good. It's not going good. It's not going good. Be honest. Be honest. Wait for you guys' comment. No boundaries in those areas. Point. Can you define relationship boundaries again? So that's dating, friendships, family, right? So there are clear boundaries between people. Like, is there anyone within those three categories that you're like having boundaries in? Whether it is dating, a family member, a friend, like they overstep, like they be doing too much, right? They be going too far. Relationship boundaries, drain being nice and overextending relationships. I can say I set boundaries, but sometimes break them down, standing firm. That's good. That's good. And listen, I want to speak that. Thank you for saying that. I want to tell you, if you set boundaries and you break them, there's grace for that. Okay? Don't beat yourself up for having moments where you break your boundaries, because setting boundaries is a process. It's trying to eat right. You may start out strong, then you're going to have a day where you're going to get a Krispy Kreme donut, where you're going to get a crumble, right? It's not about how many times you mess up. It's about making sure you always get back up, right, after you mess up. That's the most important thing, okay? Like, I just, do y'all hear me on that? Because I don't want you to feel like this is some sort of rigid plan that requires you to be perfect. No, it's just, we're going to require you to have a new effort. Does that make sense? Just a new effort. Perfection, just a new effort. All right. Now, once you know where you need boundaries at the most, right? Once you know which area you need to set boundaries in the most, now we got to start clearly communicating them and doing it very confidently, bold. All right? Everybody comment below, bold, bold, bold. We are not to just be, oh, well, I just don't like what I don't. Okay, you? Well, I was just thinking maybe you could, no. Hey, I've been wanting to talk to you about something. You got a moment? Yeah, so this is not a personal attack on you. This is not saying like that you're wrong. I'm just letting you know what I desire and what I need from you. And I just believe that you won't have a problem with it because I know you respect and love me. See, put them in that. I already know you're gonna be okay with it because I know you respect and love me. It's just me. I have not communicated it, and that's on me. So I want to commit it to you now. You see how I did that? Now it puts him in a position where you say, I know you won't have a problem with it because you respect and love me. Boom, watch this. Now they guess what that does? They prove that they don't respect and love you. There's no escape for them without them showing who they really are. Does that make sense? There's going to be some people you can have the conversation with like that and it's going to change. There's going to be some people you're going to have a conversation with and they'll try to go backwards and forth with you. It's okay. You don't got to go back and forth with them. You just tell them and make sure they understand. Then after you tell them, you show them. All right? So you want to use simple and direct language. State what you need without over-explaining. Right? I feel like you never respect my time and it's really frustrating and I wish you would stop. Say, I need people to respect my time so I can't continue last minutes. Use a lot of I statements. That's just what I just got done doing, right? Right? You want to keep it about you. That way you don't feel like an attack on them. Instead of you always take advantage of me, you say, I need to prioritize my own needs so I can't always be available. Be firm, but be kind, okay? Instead of stop asking me for favors all the time, right? I want to say that. Stop asking me for favors all the time, right? Instead, we want to say, I can't take on extra tasks right now, but I appreciate you thinking of me. How you communicate takes the fear and the skepticism and the worry out of setting the boundary, right? Does that make sense? Are y'all getting what I'm saying? Because I know for some of you, you're like, Remy, I want to, I just don't even be knowing how to approach your conversation. Some of y'all don't like confrontation. I know some of y'all don't. Matter of fact, comment below if you're someone that like you kind of avoid conflict. If that's you, just be honest. I don't know how many of you it is, but I know some of you like that's probably how you are. Usually, people pleasers are not trying to be in conflict. And Mary Ann said, I do not like conflict. But can I tell you out something real quick? Sometimes avoiding confrontation and avoiding conflict can be the very thing stopping you from experiencing love. Because, can I be honest with you? Love is spiritual warfare. You hear me? Love is war. Like, You will not have real love without having war. There will be a battle. You want to know how I know? Because when God chose to express his love for us by sending Jesus, guess what happened? A battle happened. They tried to kill him. They tried to tempt him. There's going to be a war whenever there's love. So you have to understand that it's okay to not want to have pointless arguments, but you cannot try to run from having hard conversations. They will be needed, okay? People are going to test your boundaries. We already know that, okay? Some are going to push back. Some are going to try to guilt trip you, right? Some of y'all already know some people that guilt trip you. Some are going to literally ignore you, even though you told them, I don't tolerate that. So, this is what to figure out how to do. We gotta recognize the three main reactions we may face. People who respect you will adjust. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will resist. I'm gonna say that again. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries, people who benefit from you not having boundaries, they're gonna resist it. And people who don't care, right? They will disregard you. They will ignore you. So we have to be ready for this in advance, okay? We gotta be ready for this in advance. No, so we gotta understand how we're gonna do this. And I feel like a lot of y'all need this one right here. So how are we going to reinforce our boundaries? Number one, repeat yourself without explaining it again. And if they push back, say, I understand, but I'm sticking to my boundary. Number two, use consequences if needed. If someone keeps calling after hours, stop it, sir. Remember I told you I did that? If a friend is always late, stop waiting. Oh, I like this. I like this. If they keep calling after hours, stop it. If a friend is always late, stop waiting. Sometimes you gotta make it very clear that you are not playing. And that moment is gonna be very challenging. It's gonna bring some discomfort for them. But guess what? It's gonna make you proud. Guess what? It's gonna make you see yourself in a different light. Guess what? Your sense of self-worth. And that might be the moment that they need. That might be the moment that they need. I know a friend of mine who used to let somebody borrow money all the time. All the time. They would let this person borrow money. They didn't realize that how they kept letting that person borrow money, they were stopping them from elevating, from growing, from becoming better. And one day they set a boundary and said, I'm no longer going to be giving you money. And when they did that, if I remember the story correctly, that person that always was borrowing money began to level up. They began to find new ways and make new choices. And they had to figure something out because they could no longer ask my boy for money. You see what I'm saying? And so I think what we gotta understand is like sometimes boundaries are not just helping you, but they're also for the other person's benefit who doesn't realize that they're holding themselves back. Exactly. You're enabling them and not knowing it. You said that much better in fewer words. Perfect. Right. Last part. How to maintain and strengthen boundaries over. Because you got to remember that boundaries are an ongoing process. Okay? They get easier with practice. The first one is always going to be the hardest. The first one is always going to be the hardest, but it's going to get better, okay? You may need to adjust to them. Some people will need firmer boundaries than others. Know that. Know every when you handle one situation, you can't handle the other one like that. It's okay to lose people. But that's the hardest one. You're gonna have to become okay with people walking away, with people not talking to you, with people disconnecting from you. Trust me, I've been there. I've set a boundary with someone and it completely killed that friendship. Completely. But guess what? I'm okay. I'm fine. I've actually had to do that a couple of times. I promise you, it ain't hurt me. It like you might have moments where that person cross your mind, or you be like, man, you know, miss them, or man, you know, we had some good time. But you realize for where you're going that needed to happen. And the truth is, I've had that happen to me with someone, and we became friends again later in life. So you like setting a boundary and it going bad don't mean it's gonna be bad forever. It's just that it hits that person hard in the beginning. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense to y'all. Don't be afraid to lose people though. Now, how to stay strong in your boundaries? That's a big question. You got to practice with low-stake situations first. This is deep. You want to practice with low-stakes situations first. In other words, you want to practice in situations that Let me say it like this. Start by saying no to something small or tackling bigger issues. So think of what is one, I want y'all to actually answer that. What is one small area right now that you can set a boundary in with someone? So you just think about right now, what like, and if you're trying to think of something, just think about the areas. Think about dating, think about friendships, think about family, think about work. Is there someone at work that always asks you to cover their shift and you don't want to? Or your boss always asks you to stay longer and you don't want to? There's someone you're always giving a ride, friend, a ride, someone you always let borrow money, someone that you always pick up the phone for, but you really don't be wanting to talk to them that much. You want to talk when they be wanting to talk. Is there something, excuse me, goodness, is there something in dating like that you always allow? Because we got to figure out what is a place that we can start that's like, this won't be super hard. This won't be super hard. A starting point. That's what we're looking for. Okay? Next one. You want to surround yourself with people who have good boundaries. This right here is going to change life, right? Because you get a chance to not only observe how they handle the conflict, but you can also see how they respect their own limits. And what happens whenever you get around someone that's doing something, it's going to make it 10 times easier for you to do it. That's why millionaires' children always become millionaires. Why? Because they had parents that were millionaires. They were around each other. Like, people of the same feather flock together. Seriously. So, if you want to change your feathers, go hang with a new flock. That friend you got, that family member you got, that you know they've set strong boundaries, spend time with them. So sometimes you got to borrow strength from other people. Sometimes you got to borrow strength from other people. All right, last one. Remind yourself that boundaries are all about self-respect. I'm going to say that again. Boundaries are all about self-respect. You're not being mean. You're not being selfish. You're being healthy. I want everybody to comment below healthy. Comment below healthy. So let me ask you this. Right now, what's on your mind? After all of that about boundaries, what's on your mind right now? What's in your heart right now? What are you thinking about? Honestly, just be honest with me. More realization that I need so much more healing. Who else? Who else? What are you feeling right now? What are you thinking right now after the part on boundaries? Definitely feeling motivated. I've allowed so many people to mistreat, even knowing it, because of my fear of abandonment. Woo, Marianne. Girl, you are growing right now. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? That is so good. And that is exactly the lie of the enemy. That is the trick of the enemy. To use fear, to use abandonment issues, to use rejection issues, to make us tolerate things that are less than what we deserve. Because if he can make your trauma bigger than your self-respect, then he knows he can get you right where he wants you. I'm going to say that again. The enemy knows if he can your trauma, if he can create something out of your trauma that becomes bigger than your personal self-respect, that becomes bigger than your boundaries, then he can literally keep you trapped in situations that never had your name on it. All because he deceives you and makes you think that even though you don't have good boundaries, even though you know something's not right, you're like, well, at least I'm not being left. At least I'm wanted and not rejected, right? At least they're talking to me the way that I want to be talking to me. Watch, even I'm gonna take it one step deeper. Someone may have grew up in a house where they didn't have no money, and you're dealing with somebody that got a lot of money. You're like, well, at least they pay for my soul. Once again, that's still a form of trauma. God, have to be careful with the trauma that we've had, because the trauma that we've had will keep us attached to something that's not serving us well. That was good. That was so good, friend. That was so good. Definitely feeling motivated. Anyone else? What are you thinking right now after the part about boundaries? You got 60 seconds. 60 seconds. That was good, Marianne. That was good, everybody. I really need to set boundaries to keep from taking advantage of me. I agree with what Marianne said. I don't want to be alone, and I think that's where I allow the people to take advantage of me. But let's talk about this, right? We don't set boundaries because we don't want to be by ourselves. We don't set boundaries because we don't want to be left alone. We don't set boundaries because we don't want. Okay, do we comprehend, family? See, and if we set boundaries in the beginning, then we won't have to set boundaries. So a lot of times it's because we don't set boundaries from the jump that we then now have to face the idea of letting go of someone that we should have never been involved with. Because if they would have had to get through our boundaries in the beginning, they would not have made it past it. And then we would have been able to move on to the next. Let me say this to you. The purpose of boundaries is not to keep people out. It's to make sure that the right people get in. I'm saying it again. The purpose of boundaries is not to keep everyone out. It's to make sure that the right somebody gets in. I think sometimes we don't understand that boundaries are not mean. Boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are not going to keep us alone forever. They are just making sure we do not stay in the wrong places. That makes sense? And so we have to change how we view boundaries. Trust me, I'm not gonna say a lot of y'all, I've hated boundaries a majority of my life. Like it wasn't until the most recent years that I actually began to prioritize and understand the importance of boundaries. And my therapist at the time told me, she said, you know, you gotta understand that there's a way to give grace and set boundaries. Like, you don't have to do both. You don't have to try to give grace. Like, giving grace doesn't mean boundaries. It doesn't mean not having boundaries. And when she said that, that messed me up. How I got mistreated for years by my kid's father, but I fear to leave. Wow. Yeah. See, y'all know. Y'all know. And so, something I want to talk about right now is called emotional needs. Okay? Emotional needs. Because I think that a lot of us on here may not know all of our emotional needs. And I think that once you know your emotional needs, it's going to help a lot. It's going to help a lot. It's not just though. It's not the same thing. My boundaries keep everyone out, so I need to. See, that's more of a wall than a boundary. More of a wall than a boundary. So let me ask this question, because a few people said that they wanted me to speak on red flags. How many of you feel like you need help with knowing what should be considered a red flag? Just comment below if that's you. Marianne, Michael, beautiful Martinez. Okay. Let's do this. I want everybody to comment below one or two things that you feel like is a red flag to you. What is a red flag to you? Just like this is gonna help me better gauge Because we're talking about setting boundaries, and if you don't even know things, because some of y'all don't know things as red flags, and I already know it, and so we wanna get into that real briefly before I get into emotional needs. Then Q&A. Lying, that's a great one. Matter of fact, I'm so glad I'm letting you guys comment before I say anything on this, because I'm not gonna teach on this long. This actually is kind of gonna be a little fun, but we're gonna be serious, but it's gonna be fun because we need to, like, this needs to be a moment. Okay, oh my gosh, I'm having a moment. Actually, I want to change the song. I want to change the song. I'm having a moment. Sometimes when you get a chance to see what other people consider a red flag, it'll you stop and think like, dang, I never made that a red flag. Why I never considered that to be a red flag. You know what I mean? And I feel like some of you need to have that moment where you're like, hold on, wait a minute. You know, like, wait a minute. This, I don't even be considering that to be a red flag. We need to come together and compile. So lying too much into their ego, okay? I have way too many. I need to learn what a real red flag and what's a trauma red flag. Okay, one-sided. Well, Kristen, just give me a couple. Come on, I need a couple more before we get into it. I mean, there are a lot of things that can be red flags, like a lot. Always defensive, that's one for me. Like, that's a huge one for me. Anger issues, belittling. This is good, I like this. Mistreating friends or family, like if they mistreat their friends or family. Yeah, that's good. For example, my ex was too much to his ego and was more about being right than anything. Yeah, it was always him against you, not against the problem. Always trying to see the best in people. So a red flag for you is someone who always tries to see the best in people. That's interesting. Manipulation, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. So Marcia, what's wrong with someone always trying to see the best in people? Give me some insight on that. Okay, anyone else? Right, so I think y'all gave a good enough list. If you want to name some more, feel free. I'm gonna get into a couple that I want to share with you tonight. First of all, I agree with almost everything y'all said, and even the ones that I may not say I agree with, I don't necessarily disagree. If that makes sense. But I just think overall y'all have a great list. Y'all have a great list, and I hope, like, when y'all are looking at this list, is there anybody that's looking at somebody else's? You're thinking to yourself, you never thought about that one for you? Anybody? Like, I think one that somebody said that I think a lot of people don't think about enough is the one Michael said, mistreating their friends and family. I've seen people who are like, kind of like Marianne was talking about the fear of abandonment. I've seen people who had like the fear of abandonment, like they tolerate a lot of things long as that person wants them. Long as that person wants them, they will tolerate them treating their own family bad. They will tolerate them always wanting to be right. They'll tolerate, you see what I'm saying? Like, so I just want to point that one out because I think mistreating friends and family, and Marianne, I'm not talking about you specifically here. I'm just saying, I think that one was one that gets overlooked a lot. I think sometimes a lot of people overlook the always defensive one, because if you're someone always defensive yourself, and that's not going to really bother you. It's not going to really bother you. Yep, someone who doesn't take excuse me, can't talk. Yep, that's a big one. Y'all really doing a job right now, right? So, love bombing, okay? Lack of emotional availability, which looks like they avoid deep conversations or dismiss your feelings, okay? Marianne, I get defensive too. Oh man. Oh sis, don't say it so. It's okay. We healing. Why Marianne? Why did you get defensive? Overly secretive or vague about the past, guilt tripping, okay? That's a huge red flag. Someone who is being inconsistent, especially if you're interested in them seriously, that's a huge red flag. Controlling behavior. Huge red flag. You don't want to deal with anybody controlling. We already said avoid accountability. A lot of stuff on this list you already did. So I'm skipping over some. Gaslighting, red flag. Stonewalling, red flag. Okay, for those of you that don't know what stonewalling is like when someone basically they'll try to shut down our entire, like they will not even have a conversation with you about an issue at hand. Passive aggressiveness. That is, oh my gosh, I cannot stand when someone is passive aggressive. They don't respect no. That's a huge red flag. Huge red flag. You feel like they're always in competition with you. That's a red flag. They always dismiss or hide your feelings. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. That's a red. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is like, yeah, I see two people asking me about gaslighting. I got you. So gaslighting, I'm not going to give you the definition of it. I'm going to actually show you what it looks like. So imagine if you told me you was like, Remy, let's say I was in a relationship, right? I'm talking to everyone as if you're a woman, because some of you are not women, so don't want you to misinterpret this. So let's say I'm talking to a woman, right? Let's say you said to me, I'm just using Marianne for example, so he was the one that said it. Marianne, if you was like, we was in a relationship and you said, Remy, I've never seen that hat before. And I know you say you didn't have any money, so where did it come from? Oh my God, always saying something to me about my money. Like, why are you always talking to me about my money? You see how I try to change the conversation? You're like, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, you had to borrow $300 from me recently, but now you have this hat on. Like, where did it come from? Like, oh my gosh, like, you don't trust me with anything. Like, the whole time I know a girl bought me this hat. So gaslighting, right? The reason why they call it gaslighting, because it's almost like you're adding fuel to a fire, right? Like you're literally like amping up a situation, making it something that is not, and it's deceitful, it's manipulative. You essentially, it's a lie, really. Like you're trying to make something that is not. You know. Now that y'all know what it is, have you ever had that happen to you? You know, and like that's a more example, but you know, people gaslight all the time, men and women. Like, you know, you say something about something, and they just try to make you feel like you're tripping, make you feel like what you're saying is pretty much make you try to feel like you're crazy, like what you're thinking is so far from the truth or a possibility. When really it's just them avoiding being honest. Sometimes insecurity, they don't want to talk about certain things. Man, that thing right there can look a lot of different ways. Yep, make you yourself. Just pretty much, when somebody gaslights a lot, they're much so a narcissist. Like if someone gaslights you regularly, they are 100% a narcissist. 100%. Because that is the only person that does that type of crap. Okay? So we have a lot of red flags. I mean, man, the flags list goes on and on and on. But I want to, before we get into Q&A, I want to go into some of the things about narcissists, because I think that that's something that needs to be talked about. Okay, I think we need to dive into that at least a little bit. I think that it's important to talk about. So 5 things you need to understand, because people are always saying, "Oh, narcissist," but do you really know? Do you really know? You know what I'm saying? Just because they hurt feelings don't make them a narcissist. Just because, you know, they didn't do what you wanted them to do don't make them a narcissist. Like, you know, let's really call people when it's true, right? So let's find out. And maybe some of you might be narcissists. Maybe some of you might have narcissistic traits. You never know. We never know. Okay? There are some people that say everyone has narcissistic traits at times, you know. If I agree or disagree, because I don't want to offend nobody. All right? Number 1, they minimize your distress. Like you're in distress, they literally play it down. Okay? You're like, I just cannot handle this anymore. Like, you always treat me like I don't, and oh my God, you always crying. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, sheesh, you always complain. Like, narcissistic. They shift blame onto you, right? Like, they did something wrong, they can never take accountability, they try to fit back on you. They gaslight you. We just talked about what gaslighting was, right? They ridicule you. They try to tear you down, attack your character. They away from the argument. Anything to avoid taking accountability, talking about what's really at hand. So what are traits of narcissists? Selfishness, thinks that they are better than everyone, entitlement, lack empathy, insecure, controlling, arrogant, manipulative, lack self-awareness, prideful, and hates correction. I'm going to say it again. Selfishness. They think they're better than everyone. They are entitled. They lack empathy. They're insecure, controlling, and arrogant. Manipulative. They lack self-awareness, prideful, hate correction. Okay? So some things that narcissists will never, how many of you drop in the comment section, you're like, you know a narcissistic person right now. Like, you know a narcissistic person right now, whether they in your life still. Have any of you ever dated someone that was a narcissist? I just left one. Yeah, and a sociopath. Sheesh. That's intense. Ex's hand down. Yeah, and like Marianne, just with like having intimate issues, like you're like a target. Like you're like a narcissist target. Like, and anybody else that has abandonment issues, like you're gonna be a perfect target for someone who's narcissist. Because really, most people who are narcissists, the problem with them is that they're insecure and they have tucked their insecurity so deep inside of them that they won't face them. So they lean on people who have insecurities that also have an attachment style that's very codependent to keep them feeling good about themselves, right? To keep them boosted about themselves. And so you have to understand, like, these type of people will take advantage of people who can be some of the best people. And the problem is that they don't do anything to build you up. You know what I mean? They don't build you up. They take advantage of your weaknesses. So if you're someone on here and you have abandonment issues, you have a codependent attachment style, it doesn't mean that you're not worthy of love. It's just to make sure that whoever you choose is someone that is safe. Like you have these struggles and they build you up. They don't punish you through the very things that you are insecure in or you struggling in already. They're not going to be making threats to leave you all the time. Does that make sense? They're always threatening to leave you. Now, if you're not listening, that's a different conversation, right? If you are not listening and you're giving people reasons to leave, that's different. I'm saying you're trying to have a conversation about it. You're trying to work through it. You're trying to make, better choices. And then someone keeps threatening to leave you just because they're mad. Yeah, that's narcissistic. All right. So here are some things that a narcissist will never do. Y'all gonna love this list. A couple things a narcissist will never do. They don't ask themselves if maybe they should treat you. They don't ever think they are wrong. They do not apologize unless it benefits them. They don't worry about how their abuse or neglect has affected anyone else. They don't treat you the way you deserve, and they don't feel guilty or remorseful about it. They lack remorse. They don't miss you when you're gone. They may say they miss you, right, if it gets for them. They don't think it's wrong for them to cheat on you. What they do is always justify. They don't take accountability and they don't feel responsible for any drama or conflict. They don't want the best for you. They don't want the best for you. Okay? Is this touching any like, is this speaking to anybody? Ooh, Marcia, boy, you said something then. If that ain't the whole truth, that's the whole truth. That's the whole truth. So true. So is this speaking to y'all? Like, is anybody radically relating to this? Oh yeah. Don't give a narcissist their own medicine. Then you're the most evil person in the world. They are the blueprint of condition but can't take it. Literally. Literally. Okay. So what do, right? How do we heal from narcissistic abuse? Couple of things. I'm not gonna dive super deep into it, right? Because I'm gonna let y'all do Q&A tonight. But one, we radically reject their opinions, right? We radically reject their opinions of us. Understand that they were not being led by God. Some words were not true. Some of you, you're still letting those words replay in your mind, but the words you never needed to, you should have never heard, you definitely should have never accepted. And even if some of what they said had some truth to it, the way they said it caused their world more harm than good. So reject their opinions and perspectives with your whole, let it go. Everybody comment below, let it go. We're throwing it away. We're throwing it away. They said what? They said I always do what? They said I can't do, you know what? Even if someone would, maybe you can be selfish. Maybe you do raise your voice. Maybe you don't, guess what? But we're going to have to hear from somebody else. We're going to throw their whole perspective away. Because they were sent from it. We ain't got time for it. So we're gonna let it completely go. Okay? Number 2, we want to break cognitive dissonance. Now, that's a big word. Basically saying become crystal clear on what you believe happened, right? Come crystal clear on what you believe actually happened and who they are in your head. Except who they really are. Okay? This is going to be really hard when you love someone or still love someone. What I'm trying to say to you is like, you know how sometimes in your mind you can be like, well, you know, it didn't work out, but he's a good guy. Or, you know, it didn't work out, but, you know, I think she was awesome. You know, the first person I fell in love with slept with my best friend. I was like a teenager. And I spent so many years always viewing her in this light as the person I wish I would have ended up with. And I was actually, this has been probably like, I can't remember how many years ago, but I remember I had this moment and I was talking to somebody where they were like, they said something so crazy to me. They was like, do you think she was like the love of your life? Or do you think the idea of who you had of her love of your life? I said, excuse me? Are you trying to disrupt my love story in my own head? Right? Like think, I'm attached to this storyline, this narrative that the girl that I was the most in love with in my life, 18 years old, that I had the most compatibility with, like that right there is the person I'm like, oh man, I wish that would have worked. But then someone comes along and say, is it that you wish that would have worked out, or is it you wish who you thought she was would have worked out? Because surely you're not saying you wish it would have worked out with someone that was willing to sleep with your best friend. And I was like, And so in this moment, I had to really become crystal clear about what was her character, what was her avatar in my head. Is she really the love of my life? Like when I say love of my life, meaning, is she really the person that I want to view as, I wish that would have been my person? Or is it more so, this was my first experience being in love, and it was very strong, but I learned a lot of lessons from it. Period. No comma. So right now, you have to figure out, maybe someone right now, that's something recent that's happening now that just ended, or that's still ongoing, or someone from your past. You're going to have to be crystal clear on what you believe happened. And you're going to have to know it for what it actually is, not for how you view it. Because you can't heal from something you can't see correctly. Okay? And this becomes hard when you still care about the person. So, in order to break the trauma, if we're going to break the trauma bond, we're going to have to starve it, reading old texts, emails, and photos. We got to kill all that. We got to kill all of that, okay? We got to kill all of that. Actually, you may have to join a community or go to therapy, do one-on-one calls with me. That's something I was going to tell you guys about later, right? Because being around who can relate to you will help you feel seen, heard, and loved, as you're doing right now. Congratulations, okay? And then having someone who can speak life into you regularly will help you find clarity within. Because not only do you need validation for what you went through, but you need clarity on what you've gone through and what you took from what you went through. You know, one of my friends was telling me about a therapy session they was in recently, and they said that they asked the therapist, like, hey, so what do you think about so-and-so? And the therapist said, oh, I think that it's better if you come to that conclusion. So they kept talking, and then eventually the man said, yeah, I think I'm so-and-so. And then the therapist was like, see, isn't that so much better to figure that out on your own? My point is this. It was in her talking to therapy that she began to realize something wasn't true that she's been thinking was true for years. For years. Does that make sense? And so sometimes it's intentional conversations about certain experiences that will bring you a moment of freedom that can change your entire life. Because sometimes we think that, I'll give you an example. Sometimes we can think that every person that is tall is a heartbreaker. Every person that doesn't at the pace we communicate, it can't be trusted. What happens is, what I'm trying to say is this. You have one bad or two bad situations with a certain type of people that do certain things, and then you decide that those type of people can't be trusted. Those type of people aren't this. Those type of people aren't that. When the reality of it is, cannot try to put everyone in one box just because of their similarities. That's deep. So be careful of that. Be aware of that. And that's one of my favorite reasons I do one-on-one calls with people, is because I get a chance to help people see the narrative that they're believing, right? The potential lies that are present, and the patterns that they're not noticing. I want you to pay attention to those three things. The narrative that they're believing, the lies that maybe they're not noticing, and the patterns that are present that have not been even realized. So, hopefully, for some of you, we get a chance to do a one-on-one call. We get a chance to go deeper. This class is not the last time we see the TikTok live won't be the last time, but we actually get a chance. And I'm going to send that link to everyone on here to your email when the class is over, okay? But I want you to, the one-on-one calls that I do are so powerful, so helpful. I believe it was Kristen that said that she got more from one of my classes than she did in therapy. So just definitely something to think about and pray on if you think it's for you. Now, I want to declare this. I want to declare these things over every single person. I want to declare these things over every single person on here. Okay? You are not defined by your past. You are strong. You're worthy of love. You are worthy of healing. You are forgiven. Your story is not one to feel shameful about. You are more powerful than your abusive experience. I'm going to say that again. You are more powerful than your abusive experience. If you were raped, if you were molested, if you were given away, if you were betrayed, if you were verbally abused, physically abused, you are more powerful than your abusive experience. I don't know where you are right now, but I want you to say it out loud. Say, I am more powerful than my abusive experience. You are more powerful than that person's absence. You are more powerful than their rejection. You are more powerful than that abandonment. You are more powerful than them ghosting you. You are more powerful. No one can take power from you that God has given you. No one. So no matter how many times they try to minimize your pain, minimize your emotions, make you feel small, or belittle you, let me tell you something. No one can take the power that God. You are in control of your emotions, not them. So no matter how many times they got the best of you with mind games, with deception, with lies, with manipulation, with money, you are still in control of your emotions. You have not lost control of your emotions. That was a moment. It does not define you. You still have a lot to offer. I don't know who needs to hear that. You still have a lot to offer. You are not damaged goods. You are not damaged goods. Come on, say it with me. You are not damaged goods. Here's another one. You do not need their to heal. You do not need their apology to heal. You will overcome loneliness. You will overcome loneliness. where you've been will not end. In Jesus' name. So here it is. And I will compensate you for the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the creeping locust, the stripping locust, and the gnawing locust. My great army which I sent among you have plenty to eat and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, who has dealt wondrously with you. And my people shall never be put to shame, and you know without any doubt that I am the midst of Israel to protect and bless you, and that I am the Lord your God, and there is no other. My people will never be put to shame. Joel 2:25. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me, declares the Lord. Isaiah 54:19. I want you to receive that. In other words, all that was saying was that God is for you. That no matter how many are formed against you, none of them will prosper. None of them will prosper. None of them will prosper. So here's the apology they never hear. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I never made you feel seen. I'm sorry that I never made you feel loved. I'm sorry that I never took ownership, but I always blamed you. I'm sorry that I saw that I was hurting you and acted careless. I treated your feelings like they were insignificant. Honestly, I put myself first. But I never said that out loud. I always made you feel like you were the selfish one, and like you were the problem, and like I could do no wrong. I hid things from you. I lied to you about things. I deceived you. Then there's that time that I cheated. Honestly, there's just so wrong with me. There's so many areas that I need to deal in. And in most of those moments where I hurt you, it was just me crying out for help the wrong way. And I don't deserve anything from you for that. No empathy or sympathy. But I just want you to know that I now see how broken I am, and that not only was I wrong, I need help. But I just want to tell you thank you. Thank you for loving me so well in spite of my faults. Thank you for seeing the potential in me, even though I treated you like trash. And when I think back to all the moments that you defended yourself, and that you tried to tell me a better way, and that you tried to stick around while I was putting you through hell, there are no words that express how amazing human you are. I know that there's nothing I can say now that will ever fix the wounds that I created. But I just want you to know, you were worth so much more than I ever treated you like. And I know one day, God's gonna give you what you really deserve. And there won't be one for me that will be able to be jealous, hate, or be disappointed, because I know it was all on me. For whatever it's worth, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know who needed to hear that tonight. But I pray that that bless you. And I pray that even though you may never get that apology that you've been worthy of, deserved, should have happened, I want you to know that you never will need their apology to find closure. But let this serve as a substitute. In Jesus' name. And that concludes night 2. That concludes night 2 of Know Your Worth. And I hope that right now, your worth is feeling pretty good. All right. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Talk to me. Y'all good? I got kind of quiet right there. Y'all okay? Uh, Beautiful said, you got me crying over here. Beautiful, is your real name Beautiful? Because if so, that is so fire. That is so fire. That was deep. Had to take a moment to take it all in. Thank you for all that you do. This has been very helpful. Praise God. Praise God. All right. Let's get into some quick Q&A. I don't want to hold you guys too long. It's already 9:52. So if you have a question, if you don't have a question, it's okay. You don't have to comment one. If you have a very specific question about anything pertaining to your life, your situation, your circumstances, any advice, anything maybe you've been wondering throughout the class, whatever the case may be, drop a quick comment and I'm happy to answer. Excuse me. No, it's Michelle, but growing up people call me Beautiful, so it stuck on me forever. That's dope. I've seriously realized most people in my life who tell me my boundaries are too much shouldn't be here. He have too many. Nope, it's the wrong people around. Hey, there you have it. There you have it. No questions? Or are y'all thinking of one? Because I don't want us to sit here staring at each other. Any questions? I'm quick to get defensive. Why is that? Oh, well, I can't tell you why you're quick to get defensive, right? But I can give you, from my experience, why people oftentimes are defensive. So I want to ease into this very carefully because I don't want to, like I want you to receive it because you're already telling me your defensiveness, right? So this is a big moment for you to even ask that. I want to just give you your props for that. So a lot of times, from my experience, people are defensive. Usually have gone through a lot, and because you've gone through a lot, you have a guard that you live with up. And the purpose of that guard that you have up is to make sure you don't react you've gone through. You don't want to go through what you've gone through again. You don't want to feel what you felt again, okay? And because you've been in probably dysfunctional or abusive relationships, you've dealt with someone or multiple people who told you things about yourself that were not true. And so you worked really hard to unbelieve someone said about you or how someone treated you. You've really had to push through to not buy into what has been fed to you. So if someone tells you something about you, defensiveness is your first response, because looking in the mirror, or should I say, taking inventory of yourself to say, oh, I do that, or I don't do that, with someone that's saying something about you, well, you feel like they're attacking you. So you're not going to, like in this class, you haven't been defensive with me not once. But that's because it's not a romantic situation. That's because you feel safe here with me. You feel I'm here to help you, so you're open. But see, when you're with someone that's romantic, right, there's a feeling that you feel where it's like you want them to want you, right? But you don't want them to see certain parts of you. You don't want anybody to see those certain parts of you, okay? And they have to really create a safe space, almost like this. Even it's possible that you're afraid, because defense 100% comes from fear. You're afraid that if they see parts of you, that they might not stay. Not realizing that, one, certain people you shouldn't even deal with. Two, if you're dealing with someone that is godly, someone that is safe, you can afford to consider what they're saying to see if it's true when they say you're doing this or you're not doing this. Because that is part of a relationship. That's just going to happen in relationships. You know, we have to get over that. Like, a relationship, a marriage is a mirror. But those are potential reasons why you struggle with defensiveness. And so the solution to that is, number one, make sure that, you know, you deal with romantic partners that are safe. Number two, pay attention to what a person is saying to you and why they're saying what they're saying. Okay? Pay attention to what a person is saying and why they're saying what they're saying. And ask yourself, right? Like, okay, if I receive what they're saying, what does that mean now? You know, you have to ask yourself, you have to think it through. Because the problem with defensiveness is it's you from thinking the thought through to see what's at the other end of it. Because sometimes someone say something to you and you can receive it. And if you receive it and think it through it, it'll make you better. You'll throw it away before you actually even process it all the way. Because on the front end, you're like, oh, wait, that's something about me. Nope, don't want there to be nothing with me. Because that's just going to stack on top of the hurt that I already have. So it's just a matter of healing and taking ownership of the things about you that are true. And like I said earlier, yesterday, if something about you is what it is, then you go ahead and acknowledge it and you already own it. Now you don't got to be defensive about it because you already know it's there. And you say, yep, I know that's there and I'm working on it. But I respect you pointing it out. And listen, if I ever do that, I just want you to know, like, I want you to tell me, because I don't want to keep being that way, because I don't want anybody else to be that way. So, does that help, Miriam? Do you get what I'm saying? But like I said, it's all about making sure you deal with people who are safe and healthy. Because if you're not dealing with safe and healthy people, then now my advice turns really wicked, because now I'm telling you to consider what narcissists are saying to you, and I don't want you to do that. So you got to be your first line of defense for defensiveness by making sure you choose people who you can trust first. That's foremost. Or else everything I said won't even matter, okay? But a great place to start would be with friends and with family. A great place to start. And honestly, I'll give you one more thing that I used to tell a defensive of mine. I used to say, like, hey, you know, instead of getting defensive, why don't you ask a question? Like, if you don't like what somebody's saying about you, instead of saying, no, I don't, instead of saying, don't do that, instead of saying, I disagree, ask, okay, what are some examples of when I do that? Okay, what are some examples of when I do that? Okay, why do you feel that way? Okay, when did that happen? Okay, can you how it made you feel? Because now as you ask deeper questions, you get to kind of investigate the moment. And we have to just stop viewing people saying stuff to us as like bad, if that makes sense. Like if somebody you trust says something about you that makes you want to be defensive, you gotta remember there's somebody you trust. So if they're saying it, you gotta figure out, like, okay, is this an opportunity for growth? Because growth usually comes from the most vulnerable situations. That's just the truth. I remember when I was young, like, My teenage years, oh man, I used to get called selfish all the time. And I was defensive about it. But then when I turned 21, I looked back and I remember I had this light bulb moment where I'm hella selfish. You know? I was like, I'm hella selfish. And it was just crazy. Like, it hit me. But I had been ignoring it for like freaking 9 years. You know? And so, and then from there, I had to do the work. I had to do the work. And I intentionally did that work. I mean, I remember I had people in my head that I was unselfish, and I used to copycat things they would do just to try to work on not being a selfish person. So you will get there. You will grow to not be defensive. The time, you just have to change your default of how you respond and react to situations. That question though. Who else? Anybody else? Questions. No one else has a question? Oh, I see one. Sorry, missed it. What do you think about dating someone who has good qualities, but you're just not attracted to them at all? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You said not attracted at all. You didn't say they're not your type. You said you said at all. You said at all. That's when I said don't do it. Like, it's just one of those things where, if I'm just being honest with you, every person on here, I'm sure, can agree with this. You will always be able to find a person that will treat you well that you're not attracted to. That is always going to be one of the easiest things on this earth to find. Unfortunately, it's just so true. It's just so true. And with that, we do what? I don't know. Like, you just, there was a season of my life where I used to think like that didn't matter. And then I tried it, and it was disaster. It was a disaster for me. It was a disaster for her. Because you're just not going to treat that person probably the best. Like you're going to be different with them because you're not, like, it turns into them low-key trying to do things to get your love or to get your attention. You don't just be like super laid back, chilling, low effort, low energy, not really. And let's be honest, what you have always prayed for has been something for you to be excited about. And you're not even excited about them because you're not attracted. So if you're not going to be excited about it, watch this. 1, don't shortchange yourself like that. 2, don't shortchange somebody else like that. Even if they want to shortchange themselves. Sometimes we have to be the bigger person to say no to something we could freely have, that we could have with our eyes closed. We still have to be like, no, I don't want to do that to anybody. Because you got to think about how that feels to be on the other side of that. And it may start off cool, but it always ends bad. Yeah, Christian, but you didn't say you wasn't attracted to him at all. Does that make sense? She said at all. Now, if you ask, oh, somebody treats me well, but they're not my type, that's a different conversation. You say someone treats me well, but I'm not as attracted to them as I would prefer. That's a different question. That's a different question. She said not at all. At all. That's the part that got me. Was when she said not at all. I was like, oh, don't do it. Because you got to have something. You got to have something to hold on to. You know? Look, she just doubled down on it. She said at all. Well, here's the question, Marcia. If you're not attracted to him at all, why are you asking me? And that's a real question. You need to ask yourself that. Why are you asking though? Because on here right now, I probably got one person, if we're not married, that we could say, yeah, this person wants me. But I'm not attracted to them at all. But we're not, like, I know I'm not going to ask any about the different people in my DMs that I'm not attracted to at all. But you did. So is there some interest there? What's the thought process? What's the thought process? I hear people tend to grow on you. It sounds like there might be some possibility here, sis. I'm going to be honest with you. You might be a little bit more attractive than you think you are. Super sweet. Oh my God, y'all. She's complimenting the man. Yes. Do it. Give it a try. Give it a try. I changed my complete opinion. I have changed my complete opinion. I don't know this brother's name. Let's call him Matthew. I'm officially advocating for Matthew. And I say, go on a date with Matthew. Go on a date with Matthew. Let him take you out. Tell him you want to take things slow. And during that process, assess what you feel. And if you hit a wall where you realize you're like, I just can't. You have a moment where you have an ick, and you're just like, I can't. You have that moment, go ahead and get up out of there. But give it a try then. I changed. I think we all are saying give it a try. What y'all saying, ladies, fellas? Y'all think, should Marcia give him a try? I say yes. I vote yes. I vote yes. 10 out of 10 recommend. Give it a try. Find out. Keep me updated. Let me know. Invite me to the wedding. Because I got a feeling that we got our marriage on the way here. Something got, like, for real, God might be changing your heart. God might be changing your heart. Real talk. Like, just something to think about. God really might be changing your heart. You never know. You never know. You never know. He really might be changing your heart. Ooh. Kristen says she don't really think your opinion of him is that he's not attractive. That someone might have said that, and it like kind of influenced your perspective. And I'll add to that. Or does he just not look like what you know people will think is your best? Are you potentially being influenced by external factors? Possibly. Now I'm asking. I'm not saying Christian is right or that I'm right. I'm asking you, is that possibly true? Well, we already know he's not her usual type. There's no question about that, because if so, she would be attracted to him. So I know that's a fact. Now, when I spoke, I told him he's not my type. Yeah, I mean, he's older. Is that the main thing, that he's older? Do you think he's handsome or cute? Is he cute or handsome to you? Is he alright, cute, or handsome? Is he alright, cute, or handsome? Because clearly he's not ugly to you. If he was ugly to you, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Not to be mean, but let's just be honest. Like, if you thought he was ugly, you would not even be talking to him. Listen, I'm too crazy to be on here with y'all right now. I gotta get off. I gotta get off. Yo, yo, somewhere in the world this man is existing and we having a conversation about him. All right, we gotta stop this because this is recorded. I'm tripping right now. Look, one day y'all gonna be married and you gonna show him this. You gonna show him. Y'all gonna be married one day. You gonna show him this. Oh Lord, y'all are so funny. Give it a chance. I say give it a chance. It's not gonna hurt. Watch this. This is where I stand. If you have a question, please drop your question because we finna be done. Give it a chance. That way you can know for sure. The thing that people always say about sometimes people grow on you and this, that, and the third and all that, like, give it a chance so you can find out if that's possibly true for you. You won't until you give it a chance. You won't know until you give it a chance. So just give it a chance. And excuse me laughing, but you saying all right just took me out. I shouldn't have not made that an option. I think you was gonna say that. I don't know what union is, so I guess the answer is no. I'm not sure what that is though. Yeah, if you fall in love with him, he gonna be all types of attracted to you. All types of attractive. What's your advice on godly relationships versus dating someone that doesn't believe in God? Well, everybody's supposed to only get one question, Marianne, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer this just because it's an easy one and nobody else is asking the question. And I'm about to go. Like, this is about to be a wrap, y'all. So if you haven't asked the question and you want to, this would be the time to, as I'm answering this one. What's your advice on godly relationships versus dating someone that doesn't believe in God? I mean, I'm gonna be very transparent. You know, y'all don't ever ask me questions about me. I always notice that. I don't know if it's because y'all be afraid to or y'all just don't want to. I always think that's interesting. Not just talking about your class I'm in. Like, very rare. It's probably only been like twice in 4 years that anybody's asked me a direct question about me. Maybe you don't think you can. I don't know. That's always interesting. But I'm gonna answer that from like about like me. I would. I'm gonna tell you right now. I wouldn't. It's not even an option for me. Like if you don't have a relationship with God, like to some capacity, like it's a wrap. Like an opportunity because I tried dating people who didn't have a relationship. I tried dating people who didn't know nothing about God. I went through a season where I was very open to, and it just, I mean, listen, it just led to stumbling block after stumbling block. I mean, from the lust aspect to all the way to the way that the disagreements would just spiral out of control. Because when you're dealing with somebody that doesn't know God, like they like don't have no boundaries in how far they'll take it. And so that's another part of it. There's no guarantee you're really gonna be able to build a future with this person because like they don't even believe in the same thing you believe, or like they don't prioritize God and you prioritize God. And how you gonna get married to them? How you gonna have children with them? How y'all gonna raise kids and one of you a believer and one of you like just in the grand scheme of things, like you gotta understand I'm 36, so I'm just like that just sounds like a waste of time to me. Like why start from the starting point of someone who don't have a relationship with God when I start from the starting point of one who has some sort of relationship with God? Even if their relationship with God ain't super strong, you gotta be like, you gonna have to have something. Or else you gonna end up being somebody that should be a student in one of my, classes or a disciple, somebody I'm discipling or somebody like I basically like so much time helping other people, preaching, teaching, I'm someone that can match where I'm at. So all of that to say in regards to you know where you are at, right? And I'm gonna say this to you guys, everyone. Hear my this. Choose someone that matches where you're going or where you want to be. Don't choose someone just based off of where you currently are. So right now, if you know you're not in the strongest place with God, right? You know you want to be in a better place with God. Like choose someone that's gonna pull you higher, or either match where you match where you are if you're in a good place, or match where you want to be. But don't get with someone like while you're in a struggle season or you're greatly disconnecting God, because you might choose someone that you know you would not choose in a better season. Makes sense. So hopefully that helps. All right, that's all, man. That's all. Because I don't see no more questions. So that wraps up the complete class in the night 2 of Know Your Worth 2-night workshop. And I'm super excited. Okay, one course. Beautiful. Your question came in right now. I want to fast, but I don't know where to start. Got any good suggestions? Yeah, I would say you start off with fasting from social media if you've never fasted before. That's always a good place. If you want to get up one notch, fast from the foods that you know are the hardest for you not to eat. Like, so for me, foods that I used to struggle really bad with not eating were bread and fried foods. So like French fries and potato chips and fried, chicken fingers from Chick-fil-A and just so many fried things. So I stopped eating fried stuff. I've also fasted from potatoes because I love potatoes in every form. I love regular potato, sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, baked potato, French fries, chips, hash browns. I love potatoes in every form. So I fasted from potatoes because I was eating potatoes almost every day. I fasted from carbs. I've done a water fast where I fasted from all food. I've done a liquid fast where I only drink smoothies and water and juice for 3 days. So, and then like the amount of time, you start off doing one for 3 days. Now, as you're fasting, like you're stopping something, right? I need to slow down on the chips. Y'all are straight comedy, bro. As I was fasting these things, what you got to do is, right, we have to make sure that we implement new things, right? So you're removing yourself from one thing, and then you're filling yourself up with God's word, with prayer. You're filling yourself up with the Bible. You're filling yourself up with sermons. You're being mindful of what you're watching, like during this time. Like this is a time of what they call consecration. So it's a time of focus, a time of intentionality. You're being mindful of the conversations you have. Fasting, and I want to say this to everybody who don't know, fasting is not just cutting something off. That's just a diet. If you just stop doing something, that's just a diet. Fasting is you stop doing something and then you also start doing something. That's a fast. So if you need ideas on what to do, let's say if you're doing a 3-day fast, find you 3 sermons, right? In advance, okay, I'm gonna watch these 3 sermons, 1 per day, right? Say, you know what, read, I don't know, I'm gonna read the book, whatever. And over the course of 3 days, you're gonna read that whole book of the Bible. Then you may say, I'm gonna pray every morning, I'm gonna pray at lunchtime, and I'm gonna pray at night. I'm gonna pray every morning, I'm gonna pray every night. See what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta figure out you want to do more than you would ever normally do during this time. I'm gonna watch a sermon and a podcast every day, and I'm gonna read the Bible, and I'm gonna pray every day while I'm fasting. And I'm gonna pray for God for something. I'm gonna pray to God something specific, and I'm gonna pray for His will to be done. See what I'm saying? That's you fast. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that this helps you. Man, I think that y'all have been an amazing group of people. This was one of the most intimate workshops I've ever had. A lot of people who signed up didn't show up. So, which is totally understandable, being that I got sick and the workshop got pushed back like once or maybe twice. I don't even know. So, but it's okay though, because you were here, and that's the most important part, okay? I will see you guys on TikTok Live probably Thursday or Friday. I'll probably be preparing to do this class again. So if you guys hop on TikTok Live, on my live, if you don't follow me on TikTok, make sure you do that first and foremost. Make sure you subscribe to me here on YouTube as well, please. And I'll send you guys an email with some information in it, so don't fret. Make sure you check your email tonight. But if you're on TikTok and you see me talking about the workshop, please feel free to come in the comment section and just like empower people to join and tell them how good it was and what your experience was. And I'm so grateful to have had this opportunity to pour into you guys and to teach you and to help you. And look, remember, we're all in this together, right? We family, friends, and I'm just happy to plant a seed in your life that God is going to water, and that you're going to make new choices that's going to bring you to new places and bring you new results. Okay? So 3 things I want from you. 1, if you don't follow me on TikTok already, follow me on TikTok. Number 2, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, subscribe to me. Number 3, most of you did not. There was only 2 of you who did. There was only 2. I'm asking that all of you would send me some feedback on what this workshop meant to you. Okay? How was it for you? I'm asking, I've never done this. I'm asking that every single one of you will DM and tell me what this workshop meant to you. Okay? That's all I'm asking, right? What was your experience? That would mean the world to me, all right? I appreciate so much. Now, I'm going to do one last thing that I don't have any expectations for. I do it at the end of all of my classes, okay? And this is just an opportunity for anybody on your life. Listen, this was worth so much more than I thought it was going to be worth. This really blessed me in ways I didn't expect to be blessed. And if you want to just give, right, like you literally just want to be a blessing to me because this is a blessing to you. Some of you already know, but if you don't know, I'm going to show you right now. This is my Cash App, is Viral Church Online, right? Viral Church Online. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's hard for me to. Kristen, you just took the words out of my mouth. What do you mean by that? Can somebody write that for me? Because I don't know, I can't get this to show the right way right now. I guess it's YouTube. Can someone write Viral Church Online and put the Cash App sign in front of it just so everyone can see? So if you're like, man, this workshop was, because I know the workshops I do are worth more than $32. I know that, that's why at $48, but on sale for $32. And I know it's worth more than $48. But nevertheless, I just try to be as helpful as I can to people, and so like my thing is that I'm not expecting you to give anything. I know a lot of people were sponsored, but just in case, I always just make it available for anyone that may want to. So if one person could just do me a favor and just comment below the Cash App, can someone do that? I'm going to ask someone to do it. Mary Ann, can you do that for me, please? Viral Church Online. Are these recordings being supposed to go back to? Yep, you should be able to go back and watch the first one already. The first one should be available already. And I think that's so important. So, Mary Ann, put Viral Church Online to as one word. There we go. Marquise nailed it. And actually, Marquise, you almost nailed it. You spelled it wrong. All right? Both of y'all. All right, let's try it again. Marquise did it right by putting it all together, but he spelled it wrong. Excuse me, but she spelled it wrong. I know I got a little cousin named Marquise, so sorry, I be saying he. Like it's natural for me. Um, Marianne spelled it right, but she left space. So let's try it again, both of y'all, please. Cash App sign first. Get Viral Church Online together. That's so funny. Y'all so funny, man. Y'all some comedians. Dang, nobody ain't wrote it again? Y'all leaving me out to dry right now, man. Y'all leaving me out to dry. I didn't see it pop up. Nothing came up. Did y'all see it? Can y'all see it? Well, I don't know why it's not showing up now. It showed up before. But y'all get the point. Viral Church Online, one word. Marquise had basically wrote it right, but she just skipped. She just added a word by accident. Once again, that's optional. That's your choice if you want to. And yeah, that's much it for tonight, y'all. And I love y'all. And I appreciate y'all. And I thank y'all for joining it. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's not showing up. I don't know why it's doing that. But like I said, y'all get the gist. I think everybody understand what it is. Whether you plan on giving something or not, I think you understand what it is. It's Viral Church Online. It's one word. No spaces. Just put the Cash App sign in front of it. You'll know you found the right one because it'll be like a little globe picture. Okay? Excuse me. So that's pretty much that. So yeah, one last time. LaShawn, I'm not quite sure. What's that, sis? You said viral space C? Oh, your accident. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Please send me a DM. Let me know what your experience was like. And if you would like anything, just to be a blessing, because the class bless you, Viral Church Online. Or if you use Venmo, you can send it to J. Remy Inspires. If you use Venmo, you can send it to J. Remy Inspires, okay? And that pretty much wraps up tonight. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Had a great experience with you. And yeah, man, I pray that this work sticks with you for the rest of your life. I pray that things from this workshop literally stick with you for the rest of your life. That you're able to build on this for the rest of your life. In Jesus' name, okay? Love you guys so much. I appreciate you. I'm so glad we crossed paths. And I pray, God, that this is just the beginning of a new season for you. All right, y'all be blessed. I'll see you guys around, all right?